Thank you. Uh, okay, so before we go on to the demo, and I'll show you the demo flow document, I would like to give a brief description or brief summary of what is Edulytics and what kind of advantages it has to offer uh, in the in the COVID and the post-COVID days, basically.
Okay.
Okay. So Edulytics is a powerful MOOC platform powered by Open edX. When we say MOOC, it stands for Massive Open Online Courses. Why we call it as massive is because we can support a few hundred users, or we could also go scale up to a lakh or more users. So we can support learning on a massive scale. That is why we call it as a MOOC. The technology itself is called as MOOC. Examples of MOOC platforms are Khan Academy, edX, Coursera, Udemy. See, these are some of the examples of MOOC platforms. So we also provide a lot of tools. Institutions can track learner progress. They can provide for certification and certification management. They can see what kind of feedback the learners are giving. Simply put together, Edulytics is a Netflix for digital learning.
Okay.
So if you have, like, for example, instead of for entertainment, it is just for the learning space. Okay, so let me go on to the advantages in the COVID-19 and the post-COVID-19 space, and then we can come back and address if there are any queries. Yeah, so basically right now the COVID-19 is going on, the pandemic, but this is not the first time when learning programs were considered as a replacement for online classes. I think the general tendency is already there. People understand what e-learning is. For example, in India, we have Byju's, we have Unacademy, we had Vedantu. So people already are realizing that this kind of a service exists and they would like to utilize this service, right? And similarly, before COVID-19, we also saw Katrina in the US, where a lot of schools and colleges were shut down. Then online classes had to be used as a substitution. Similarly, H1N1 in 2007, when that pandemic broke out, similarly online classes were used instead of face-to-face classes. And we can see a lot of citations in reputed institutions like the World Bank. The World Bank actually states that around 1.6 billion youth and children have been disrupted. Their learning has been disrupted. So this has a long-term effect on the human capital and the kind of economic opportunities that that particular generation will avail. And we can also see some of our homegrown media, like India Today, Times of India, and Financial Express. A lot of Indian media also is reporting that during the COVID time, a lot of Indians are actually turning to learn some new skills, and they are utilizing the available platforms which are already there. It's all available in the public domain. Yeah. So now, how do we establish how does Edulytics help in handling this kind of a disruption? Now, we should understand that Edulytics is a platform which not only will help you to beat the COVID-19 pandemic, but it is also for a long-term engagement. You can also benefit from a long-term engagement with it. Now, the first and foremost advantage is that for example, immediately after the pandemic, the lockdown is lifted, parents would not send their children, or their college-going youth would not come to the classrooms because they are fearful of being catching the disease. So I think a good 3 months would go before you can actually start seeing full strength. Me myself, I have a daughter, and I am thinking of sending her in the somewhere around September time. So if you have something which you have already online and it doesn't take away the learning experience, then people would easily shift to that, and their learning would not be disrupted because of it. So we facilitate off-campus learning and online learning. That's the first advantage. The second advantage is that we offer a blended learning, meaning to say you can create a lot of content, a lot of videos, a lot of PDFs, presentations, everything is supported. We support a very diverse content, but you can also combine with online classes, and you can online live classes. So basically you can facilitate face-to-face interaction between the teachers and students as well. So that is what we call as blended learning, and that is unique to the Edulytics platform. And like I said, there's a high demand. Learners across the world are seeking information on their fingertips. So this has led to the emergence of platforms like Byju's, Khan Academy, Unacademy. Unacademy is right now very famous during the COVID-19 time. You can see Sunil Gavaskar or Shashi Tharoor who are offering some of the live classes on Unacademy right now. So that's the thing, right? So we also post the COVID-19, this kind of a demand will be there. It's not like COVID-19 has created. COVID-19 has definitely been a catalyst which has pulled the institutions to look at the e-learning space. And moreover, when universities are there, they all have their distance learning programs, right? Right now, if the university can support 10,000 students, if they make available their courses online, and they can get a huge learner base. Instead of dealing in thousands, they can have lakhs of students, and then they can augment their revenue, and they can augment their branding as well. Already universities like MIT, Stanford, Harvard, and several other universities across the world are already doing it, and they use the same technology for that.
Okay.
Automation. So if you are running a university, a lot of things you would be requiring, like certificate management, grading, creation of problems, online classes, and so on and so forth. So all these tools are given by Edulytics, so that you don't have to go anywhere else. Basically, that's one of the advantages. And Google, Microsoft, they use the same technology again for their own employee learning programs. They use similar kind of technology. With Edulytics, you can also create a repository of digital learning assets. So you can record a course, you can add PDFs, you can add videos, you can add podcasts, you can gamify it, different kinds of problems, and you can also write articles. You can also notify students. You can do bulk enrollment. A lot of things that you can do. And what happens is this becomes your repository of digital assets. So when you say it's a digital asset, it means that you can always make money out of this particular digital asset online. And basically you can record once and reuse. So once you have a course, let us assume that you have a course on psychology, so this course you can reuse for several years, unless you want to change the syllabus or something like that. And you can change the syllabus quite easily as well. And offering such kind of courses online will obviously help the branding of the institution. And what happens is that if you really have a very good course, then the word of mouth marketing through social media also becomes viral on social media. So these are some of the offerings. These are some of the advantages of Edulytics, and I will right now take you through the demo of Edulytics, and then you can have an idea of what kind of platform it is. Sir, do people have any queries at this point of time?
No, you're doing fine. We are getting it. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you. I'll just go to the demo then. Yeah. So this is the demo flow document, and today's demo will consist of LMS, CMS, and analytics. The LMS is called as the Learning Management System, and this is where learners log in and they can see all the course offerings. And in the LMS, I'm going to take you through all these particular features, right from login, enrollment to the course content, and then we can look at certain things like online classes, bulk enrollment, and certificate. The CMS is the content management system, and it is a platform for course authors and course staff. So basically, anybody who's creating the course or helping in creation of course, they can use the CMS. And within the CMS, I'm going to take you through all these particular features. Okay, so I'll just jump into the demo. Right. So this is the homepage of the demo. I'll just and you can see that there are around 4 courses which are available. So let me go click on one of the courses. So this is the course overview page, and you can see that in the about the course section, you can see what the course is about, and the course staff has also specified what the course is about and what are the requirements for the course.
Okay.
On the right hand side, you can see when the course will start, when the course will end, what is the estimated effort. It requires 8 hours per week, and you can also invite other people. You can also share it on Twitter or Facebook or that kind of stuff. And before you can enroll, you can also see the preview video. So using the preview video, people can make a decision as to whether to enroll to the course or not,
Mm.
right? So we also support two kinds of enrollment. One is optional enrollment, where the user can enroll, see the course and enroll, and other things for universities or for colleges, right? There is a bulk enrollment feature where you can already pre-enroll your students basically.
Okay.
So that both are supported. We will go to the bulk enrollment at a later point in time. I'll log in through an ID, test ID. So I'm not yet enrolled, so I'll enroll to this particular course. Yeah, I have enrolled, and you can see that I am enrolled. These are the two courses which I am enrolled in currently. One is organic chemistry, which I just enrolled, and previously I had enrolled into introduction to Laravel course. So I can start viewing the course. So let me view the course. And this is what we call as the course outline page, and you can see all the course basic structure of the course here. So this is a very textbook kind of a division. Assume that you had a subject called as science, and then you would have something called as chemistry, physics, and biology as a sub-subjects. And within that, you will have chapters, and within chapters, you have several units, and units will contain content and a lot of exercises. So similar structure is there. And in this section, you can see the any notifications. This notification is set by the course staff. So the staff has said, to submit the submissions or the assignments by June 21st. So this area, the learner can see the notifications, and he can see some of the updates here on the right hand side, and on the left hand side, he can see the entire course structure, right? So let me go one by one over that. Before I go, there's also certain tabs like discussion progress and textbooks, so which I will come to that later. So you can also see a lot of textbooks as well in this particular course. So yes, one second. So I have taken you through normal login and course enrollment. Now I will take you through the various kinds of contents. So we can see how diverse the content can be in this particular course offering.
Okay.
So starting with, we support a lot of videos, and we support different kinds of videos, right? So basically we support YouTube videos also. You could upload your video onto YouTube and you can also post that, and that is also supported. So you can see that. And one more thing that you can definitely do is that you can support transcripts as well. So people who are, require the help of transcripts, you can also upload a transcript file, and that you can see that it can be played as well. So you can see on the right hand side, you can disable that. The video play is quite rich, so you can turn off the transcripts.
Okay.
You can also make it a full screen kind of an experience, and you can also have the transcript on the video itself. So it's quite rich that way. If there is a HD version of the video available, then you can also enable that, and you can also increase or decrease the speed. That is one kind of a video. And similarly, we also support Vimeo videos. So not only YouTube, you can also have a Vimeo video. Vimeo is a alternative platform to YouTube, and it is usually used for high kind of graphics. This is a better version of YouTube, is what you can say. We also support Vimeo, and we also support MP4. So so the video format is not a challenge. We support all kinds of video formats. And apart from that, here you can see a PDF file. So we have uploaded a notes basically in the form of PDF here, and the learners can not only view the file, but they can also download the file. Downloading the PDF file is optional. You can set it in the CMS, so you can always make it invisible, or you can just make it viewable rather than downloadable. I can click on next and I'll go to the next sections. Okay, so in this particular section, we can see that this is an MP4 video. So I have just named it as MP4 so that it's easier for demo purposes. So this is not a YouTube video. This is a MP4 video. So that also plays. And then Yeah, so then we have, you can also enable discussions, on each, not only at the course level, but if you have a video, even on that video, you can have a discussion, and you can have multiple discussions basically. So in this discussion, this is a test discussion. There are, kind of uh, two responses. So you can see that, and you can also put a response over there. And so similarly, when you create a discussion, you can also kind of, you can ask a question, or you can just, it can be a generic discussion as well. So this, what happens is that this is kind of, this gives you forum like, what do you call, forum like experience, where learners are interacting with each other. They can participate on all the posts related to the chapter, or related to the content itself. So on each, so as it is not at the course level, and you can also enable it and disable it. We need to say, you can choose to embed a discussion at a particular place in the course, or you need not embed the discussion as well. So you can always put it in all the units of your chapter, so that you can always have a lively experience. I'll go to the next sections. In this section, we can see that this is a HTML article, or it's a blog. So we have presented course content in the textual format, or rich text format. This is, you can add images. You can, it's like a typical blog, so you can add a lot of content over here as well in rich text format. So most importantly, you can also do presentations. If you have presentations, and if you are using Google Documents, you can also embed Google Documents. So this is a Google document or slide viewer, so you can always see the various slides also. There's a slide viewer as well. And you can also embed Google Calendar. If you have a calendar for the course, you can also embed that, and students can learn what is the course schedule as well. So in these two sections, I have embedded the Google slide document, and then I also embedded a calendar. Yeah. We also support files and uploads. I will take you to the files and upload section in the CMS as well. But for the learner, I am just going to show how to download it. So this is I have put a PDF file for download, so you can download that as well. So you can download any kind of file. Once the course staff makes it available, then you can download any kind of, give me a second. You can download any kind of file as well. And similarly, we can see some more discussions here. So files and downloads are supported, and you can utilize, course staff can utilize this particular feature as well. Yeah, so now we are coming to a typical classroom kind of behavior. See, what happens is that a class teacher or a lecturer would ask for some assignments, right? So we have to automate that as well. So we have automated that. So a course staff or a lecturer can ask for an assignment to be submitted. He can state the problem statement. Like here, for example, the course staff has asked for to submit an assignment to write a summary on the importance of vitamins in the human brain. So that's what he has asked for. So students can upload files, and staff can, like in a class, what happens is that the teacher asks for an assignment to submit it. Students submit the assignment, and then teacher kinds of gives marks for that particular assignment, right? The same behavior is automated here. So I will upload certain files, and we can see how that works. So I'm going to upload some document as of now. So I have uploaded it. This is the file uploaded, and I can see that this assignment has not yet been graded, which means that the staff has not yet given me a score. He or she has not yet given me a grade for this particular submission, right? So I have logged in as a learner. So if I am a course staff, if I'm a lecturer, for example, I will log in through my ID, and we can also grade that particular submission. I'm going to show you that. This particular account is a super admin or a course staff. So let me go there. Yeah, so the assignments are here. So let me go to that particular section. Yeah, so I have myself submitted an assignment. That's okay. The solution, I have also set the solution in the CMS. So people, I can see what is the solution here. Anybody, so one staff can set the solution and other staff can just do the correction as well that way.
Okay.
I can click on grade submissions. So let me click on grade. I can see that four students have submitted assignments. Shashi Kiran, developers, Harita, and again one more Shashi Kiran. So they have submitted the assignments and I have graded almost everybody. So I can grade this particular this as well. So so the total number of points is for 100. So I'll grade it. I'll put it for 100. So let me put it as 80, and I can give some comments as well. So I can submit it, and I can see that I have already submitted it. See, one more thing, what you can do is that usually what happens is that see, students not only ask for a grade, but they'll ask for where exactly they have gone wrong, right? So you can take this particular document and you can add your own commentary on it, and then you can upload the another file also, so that it is there for the student reference as well. So I'm going to just going to do that here. So I have uploaded that. Yeah, I have uploaded that. This is available for me as a staff. Now let me go and log in back as the user, same user.
Okay.
I'll go to the assignment section. Okay, so I have, so I can see that my score has been is 80 out of 100, and I can also see the instructor's comment. It says that it needs improvement, and I can also see for my own reference. I'm a learner, so I can see what the instructor is saying, where exactly I have gone wrong. I can download the document. I can see it as well. Okay, I'll just download it. Yeah, you can see that I have downloaded the document. Okay, so this is what we call as staff graded assignments. So next, we'll go to the next section is full of exercises. So there are various kinds of exercises. I'm going to show you what they are. Okay. So we support basic and advanced exercises. So basic means you can have multiple choice questions. So for example, this is a multiple choice questions where I have said item consists of which following entities. So just do that. Before I do that, yeah, I can see hints as well. So first hint is that it's just some sample text. I can see all the hints and then I can answer it. So I submit it. So I have this for this particular question, 10 points were assigned. So I have earned 10 points. So that way we also gamify particular experience of the user. So he has a certain kind of a motivation to answer these questions. So you can also grade it basically, and you can set a pass percentage as well based on that particular how the student answers. This is again a question on it's a drop down kind of a problem. So biomolecules belongs to which branch of chemistry? I think it's organic. So yeah, so that's that, and you can see the answer as well. Yeah, so in this I'll put an incorrect answer.
No, here I just have a query.
Yes, sir.
When you come to chemistry or mathematics, there are a lot of symbols and other things like integrations involved and all these. How can I get them in the questions actually?
I will show you some more question types,
yeah.
So that you can see how it can work. These are not just the what do you call the only problem types. We have text input, numerical inputs. So if it's a max question, you can also ask for a numerical answer. And we also have advanced problem types where, for example, we have drag and drop. So you can also have a drag and drop.
Where can I put scientific symbols? Suppose I want to put an equation in chemistry, like organic chemistry equation, where I can write benzene ring or this kind of thing.
So let me answer.
That kind of inputting is possible. That is what my
yes, Raghunandan, let me answer on this part. So all the circuit design, all the chemical equation, and all the mathematical equation we are supporting in this problem statement. So basically, not only we are focusing on equations, mathematical equation, or integration or differentiation, a differential part, but also we are focusing on the circuit design. So for example, because this is The people or student who are sitting at home, they want to do some circuit design problem statement, right? So for that also, there is a dynamic problem statement we can create over here, wherein learner can log in and they can change the circuit design as well. That Shashi will showcase you.
Okay.
It has already
Yeah.
enabled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, to summarize what Praveen said, there are two kinds of exercises. One is basic exercise. You can use basic exercise with the school people also.
Okay.
And like the problem that you asked was advanced.
Yeah.
So you can also use the advanced exercise for advanced, I mean, higher education or,
No, that is the problem we face normally with, we need some kind of latex kind of keyboard or something like that to put these
Yeah, correct.
advantage.
So basically here is another example. I just asked for chemical composition of water. So this is a textual input kind of an exercise. So,
Okay.
so I said
Okay, you
H2O
can go ahead
that.
now. We
Yeah.
can show me. I'll mute.
Yeah, and this is a drag and drop. So you can ask your questions and you can kind of enable the drag and drop kind of a thing. So it goes to the bottom. So this is a drag and drop problem. So you have to design your problems. You can be very innovative in designing the particular problem. So this was what the circuit builder that Praveen was talking about. So people can see that as well.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm there.
Can we draw math problem also?
Pardon?
Your voice is not clear, sir. Can you repeat it again?
I'll just begin.
Okay, so I understood. I kind of understood your question. You want to, yeah. So I will take you through creation of problems in the CMS section. When I go to the CMS section, I'll show you how to create different kinds of problems, and then we can address your question there, how to create a max kind of a problem, basically. So that will be pretty evident. So we'll cover that as well in the demo. Okay. So I'm just here. I'll just go there once we are there. I'll definitely remember your question, and I'll also answer that. Okay, I'll showcase you that as well. Okay. So this is a kind of image problem where people can also upload an image and they can kind of ask for marking it on this thing. This image can be anything, need not be a map. I mean, you can also have a different kind of image as well, right? So, so somewhere, I think somewhere this, yeah. So yeah, the answer was Egypt. So that's what it is. Right? That's a demo example. So these are some of the various problems that are supported, and in the CMS section, when I'm demonstrating the CMS section, we can see the various kinds of problems that are supported. So custom, if you have a custom problem, we can support that as well. So I'll just take you to that at a later point in time. Yeah. See, I am coming to some of the powerful features of Edulytics. One is LTI. LTI stands for Learner Tools Integration. So LTI is a standard. So everybody who is having this kind of platform have to support that particular standard. Then only they'll be considered as a standard learning platform. So LTI is a standard. And in simple words, let us assume that you have content in somewhere else. I mean, you don't have content with you, but you have content either in some of your other websites, or it is there with some other partner. Like Khan Academy has a lot of content, right? So you can also pull content from other people, not just your own content. You can pull content from other people through LTI. That is one of the advantages of LTI. And the second advantage is that you can integrate with third-party services. I mean, you can whatever services are there available, like Google Meets or Google Hangouts or Big Blue Button or whatever are there. You can integrate with those services as well using LTI. So you can enhance the user experience that way, right? So in this particular example, this content is not part of my course, but I have pulled it from Khan Academy. Okay. So that way my students also benefit, they can also see content from other sources as well. It can be anybody. It can be Khan Academy, or it can be some other source as well. Through LTI, you can do that. I can see, I can see their particular videos as well, like that. And similarly, we also support iframes. When if you see, this is an iframe basically. So a lot of websites have iframes, so you can embed other websites. Iframe is a simple concept where if it is in a website, you can use an iframe and embed that particular website in your own website. So you can use iframes. This is an iframe which I have taken from YouTube. So you can also embed other websites into your own course using the iframe option. So you can deliver not only in-house content, but you can also take content from external resources using LTI. So I will take you through online classes because that is one of the important features that a lot of clients ask. So I'll just demonstrate that. Let me go to that. Online meetings, and you can embed your online meeting anywhere in the course. So it doesn't have to be in a particular place. Anywhere you can do it. So yeah, so basically I have a meeting. This meeting is where it's scheduled at 6 p.m. and I can join it. If I click on join button, it's a Zoom meeting, so I can join it as well. Okay, I will not join because right now I have there's a call going on, so I'll not join that. So yeah, it is possible, so you can integrate that. And apart from that, we also support integrations with Google Meet and Big Blue Button, which are also online learning or online class kind of a provide for online class kind of a services. So we also support integrations with them as well, right? And let me go to the bulk enrollment feature, which is very important, and also certification. So let me go to certification. So this student, Harita, she has completed the course and she has earned around 60%, and the pass percentage was set at 50%. So she has earned a certificate. So I can see the certificate. So this is the certificate that the student has earned. This entire view of the certificate, it can be customized. So you can add your own signature and you can also customize it basically accordingly. Okay, so I can download the certificate also. Save it. Okay. Save. Let me save it in the desktop. Yeah. So basically, this certificate, as you can see, certificate is very nice if you have serious courses, and if you want to give distance learning kind of a thing to your learners, and obviously they would be seeking certificates. So you can always give these kind of certificates which they can use it. So basically your whole certification process, certification management process is automated. You don't have to manually print it. You can just give a soft copy as a PDF like this and they can print it by themselves. Okay. Let me close that. I'll come back and I'll take you through bulk enrollment, which is important for staff basically. So there is something called instructor. This is enabled only for course staff or admins. So they can go and they can add people who they would like to enroll automatically. Batch enrollment, as we call it. You can always separate it. You can also choose the role for the users. Whom would you like to? Do you want them as learners or do you want them as a support in a staff basically or something like that? And you can also specify the reason why you're enrolling them.
Actually, can we integrate it with the third-party student software?
Third-party students
have list of student available. So can I integrate? Can I use that data? So we are having Oracle PeopleSoft campus, in which we have student administration. So all the student data is there.
Okay. See, the one way is that you can just download the email addresses and you can just put it here.
Okay.
Directly it supports.
Okay.
The other way is that we can write a custom script or something like that where we can pull the data from.
We need to write a custom script for that.
Custom script. Yeah, but it is not a very big task in a sense. Either getting the email addresses from the database or writing a script it's not a very big.
But again, it has to be two-way push-pull because finally all our grades and everything is managed in that Oracle PeopleSoft. So
okay. So that way you can also, like as I said, using LTI you can, or using the HTML articles, you can always give links to that particular software as well. I mean, you can have an integrated experience that way.
Okay.
Yeah. As I said, sir, you can serve in-house content. Whichever is there in your course, you can serve it. But if you have content outside also, you can pull it also. Both are possible.
My problem is like getting bulk enrollment is one way you have solved the problem. I can get all the emails from my student section and enroll them. But once they complete the course, they are graded in this, and those grades I want to push into my system.
Okay. So yeah, we support. You can download reports. We support a lot of reports as well. So we'll have to. There is a degree of integration possible, but when we look at individual software, we have to. There is some more may be required. Some more scripts may be required.
Okay.
But on the
I just wanted to ask you: have you integrated some kind of this kind of software in any other university? That is what is my question.
We had integrated with. We had a client called Indic Knowledge Systems. They were not a university, but they were a course provider. I mean, they offered courses on Indic Knowledge Systems like Upanishads and Sanskrit and this kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
And so for them, we had done this where they kind of not only their courses, but they wanted courses from partners also. Like they could have other partners, and they wanted their courses also to be available for them. So we had done that. So the partner could also go. You could also, the learner could log in, and then he could go to the partner website also. They could get the content from there also, and he could participate in the whatever gamification or answering the questions or whatever. The learning activity could be done on a different website also. So that is how we had done it for them.
So also to answer to your question, this is very much possible to pull and push on both sides.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll click on enroll. Okay. So I have enrolled. So basically, I get notified by email. Okay, so let me check my email address. Basically, yeah. So you can see that so I have been enrolled to the organic chemistry class. So let me log into that. I suppose. Okay. Access the course material now. Yeah. I'll just log out because I have logged in as a different user. Okay. Okay, so let me sign in. You have been enrolled to the course, so let me sign into that. Yeah, so that's this thing. Is this one more user? I'll use that user ID. This guy is not a super admin, so you can see that this guy is enrolled. Yeah, so I have been enrolled to organic chemistry for class 12 by the admin, so I can see that. Okay, and now I can go to the course and I can access the course like anybody else. Before I complete the LMS, finalize the LMS demo, I'll just go to another section called as textbooks. So you can upload a number of textbooks. You can upload it chapter wise also. So these are the two textbooks that the course staff has provided. One is chapters 1 to 20. So this is a PDF file. So I can see all the textbook here. And there's one more textbook the course staff has provided. So this can be any number of textbooks. There is no limitation to the number of textbooks you can upload. Apart from PDF feature, this is also another feature which is already there in the Edulytics offering. Okay. And you can also see your progress here. Right now, I have not progressed. The pass percentile is set at 50%, so I have not done anything as of now. Okay, so let me log in with a different user who has actually passed the exam or passed the grades basically. So I'll log into different subjects so I can see the overall. I have passed it. I have achieved 100%, and then the total number of points is 60 basically. So I have passed this particular course. There's one more course which the learner has enrolled to. Let me see what is the progress in that particular course. So in this thing, I've gone at 44%, or I've just earned something less than 50%, something like that. So out of these problems, I have scored 100 out of 100 in a particular problem, and the rest of the problems I have not even attempted basically. So this is how I can see learner can see their own progress as well that way. And apart from that, there is discussion tab also. So all the discussions in the course, it's a common place where you can see all the discussions of the course. So there are no posts yet. You can create a post if you want to. And yeah, so there are 2 posts in optical activity, under optical activity. So I can there's a discussion. So this kind of gives you Stack Overflow kind of an experience where you can have discussions, really minute discussions as well. So that completes the LMS, and now I shall go to the CMS, and where we can see a lot of how to create content. That's very important, because as course staffs or course authors, this is very important. We want to see what is available for the course admins or course authors. So let me go to that. So we call it as Edulytics Studio. Edulytics Studio is where you can create courses and you can manage them. This is the home page. You can click on sign in. I will log in as the admin. Okay. So here I have logged in as the admin. Because I am the admin, I can see all the courses. I mean, if you are a university, you can see all the courses in the university. But there are other roles as well, where, for example, you can be limited to a set of course. You can probably appoint a staff for a particular set of course, and that person will be able to see only that course in his particular dashboard. So we'll go to that later, but let me start with course creation. Okay. Course creation is very simple. Click on new course and you get a simple wizard. Just a few fields that you have to enter. So let me physics, give a unique number, and T2, okay, and click on create. Your course is created, and we also have a checklist, so you know that you have completed 3 out of 9 action items basically. So there are so many action items, so it's a reminder basically as to what all things that you need to add to your course. Okay, so when we create it, we go to the course outline. Course outline is where we add the content. I will come to this part at a later point in time. Okay, so let me go to schedule and details. That is very important. So schedule and details, you can invite your students from here as well in this particular this thing. You can specify whether the course is instructor-paced or self-paced. Okay, there's a difference. Self-paced is those courses which don't have any release dates for assignments or something like that. Look, the learner can always learn at his own pace. So he's not forced. He can learn it in 1 year, or he can learn it in 1 month, or he can learn it in 2 years. That's his own kind of thing. Instructor pace is where you can configure release dates. So you say that this assignment has to be submitted in so and so date. So more often than not, even when there's a university, usually it is instructor based kind of a courses. You can choose one of them. And whenever you choose something, you can also see the changes here. The course start date specifies when the course will be available for learners. So right now it's 2030 by default, so you can make it May 19th. Okay, and you can also specify course end date. So yeah, some date, I'll set it as May 31st. And there's an enrollment start date and there's enrollment date. Only when the enrollment start date is specified, the learners can enroll from that particular date onwards. And you can also specify the language of your course. It can be any language, Hindi, English, Chinese, or whatever, whichever language, which there's so many languages that you can choose from. And you can give a short description of the course. And this is the course overview section. I was talking about this particular thing. Course overview section is where you richly describe your course. So let me show it in the LMS how it looks like. So it is this section I was talking about. So when we finish the schedule and details, you can see all this particular information over there. So this particular about the course page is designed using so we have provided a rich text editor, so you can design that particular page using this particular thing. You can also upload a course image. So the upload is complete, and then you can also specify what kind of, you can also give a preview video. Let me give a YouTube video. Any video, you can just take the YouTube video ID and just paste the video ID, and automatically the preview video is set. And save the changes. So changes are saved. So if you refresh the LMS, you can see that course is also available now. So you can see that we have published the Introduction to Physics course as well. That is available there. Okay. So, but we have just created the course, but we have not added any content to it. So let's add some content to it. Click on the outline. So click on the new section.
Hello, Shashi.
Yes.
I think these things are pretty clear, how you can upload and other things.
Okay.
I think you can show us how you can create these questions and how you can do scientific.
Yes, I should go to that.
Because this is okay. Now, videos or PDFs or presentations you can add. That is okay. That
Yeah, I'm going to that section only.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, like I said, it's a textbook kind of a division. You have subjects, sub-subjects, and chapters, and then we have units, right?
Yeah.
So this is where you can have this thing basically. So basically, there are several things. Video is for embedding videos that you already don't want to. You want to skip that, so that's okay. HTML is for blogs. You can discussion is for discussions. You can just click on a discussion, and the discussion would be available at that particular point in the course. So since you asked for problems, I'll directly jump into problems. Okay. So these are the different kinds of problems which are supported. There's a these are all basic problems. I mean, so these are check boxes, and so I'll just show one of them. Multiple choice. I'll show you multiple choice.
Actually, no. You can go to the directly the complex one. No, it's okay. They understand. No,
straight away complex one. Yeah.
Okay.
Multiple choice and all. See, Shashi, we have used Moodle. We know most of these things.
Okay. Fine.
So,
fine, sir.
Yeah.
So let me go to the problem section. So these are the various kind of advanced problem types which are already there. So we have a circuit builder, and we have a custom JavaScript this thing, and custom Python evaluated input, drag and drop, math expression input. So this is an example of a math expression. There's a certain format that that you can use it. So click on edit, and you can give the we use what you call as ORA or something like that. There's a format for this OLX, right? So you use OLX language for math expression problems. So if you learn the format, I think the format is already available. We can share the format as well. So using that, you can use a lot of equations and that kind of stuff as well.
So basically, for math expression, LaTeX is the way you said, Rao sir, the LaTeX is enabled. And for circuit design and all, like so you can click on circuit schematic builders. Yes. For math expression, MathJax is a library which supports LaTeX, which is enabled in this situation. So we can do that. People who understand how to create this equation compression, it can writable in this forum.
Okay. And this is a circuit builder. You can actually edit it, and you can edit it and add the particular. We follow certain format. That formats we can share it with you. What format we follow.
Shashi, can you click on save? Just click save.
Yeah.
Okay. Scroll down. Click on any of the circuit. You just click on any of the circuit and move on. Move left and right anywhere. Click and drag it. No. Hold on. Yes. Wait. So basically, what I'm trying to say that this is a very dynamic circuit design. The way it is moving here and there. Similarly, the math equation can be done, but that format we have to understand.
Okay.
So can you go to the advanced setting?
Settings or advanced problems?
Advanced setting, not advanced problem. Advanced setting. Not here. Advanced settings.
Settings. Yes. Yes.
No, not here. Cancel. Click cancel or save. Just
Okay.
go up.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Got it.
Please. Yeah. Click on advanced setting. Yeah. So beauty of this platform is. Yeah.
Hello.
Can you enable it some module over here?
Okay.
Correct. So similarly, so whatever the module, suppose we want to consume, for example, we want to set a problem for mathematical complex equation, we can add the library here. So all the libraries are by default, it is there in this Edulytics. We have to enable it.
Okay.
For example, LTI consumer. The moment he said LTI consumer, so all the third-party application or software, anything we can consume it in this particular platform. The moment we say edX SG, it is nothing but a staff-graded assignment. Similarly, for circuit design, we have enabled this one. Can you go down, scroll down? Can you click on problem statement?
So yeah, no, since we added that, then we got this advanced.
Okay.
This thing.
Okay.
So if you want to add a custom kind of a problem, then we can enable it there, and then we can come back and we can.
So basically, the moment you add MathJax is a one library, you just add it onto this advanced module. It will come up over here, and automatically you can write down. That's
okay. Okay.
And what else you wanted, Praveen?
Now you click on problems. Can you click on problem?
Yeah.
So these are can you scroll down? I cannot see the whole screen.
Yeah, see, some kind of problems are there where you can have your own kind of problems, and you can write scripts for that. Okay.
Okay.
This is for advanced user who knows scripting language, they can do that.
Scripting language can do that basically.
Okay.
So basically,
So
all
example,
type of problem. So basically, all type of problem exist in this world. We support it. Basically, provided if we understand that what type of problem we are going to use, we just have to enable it in the advanced module. That's all.
So in this particular custom problem, there is a drop down we have to select from. So we can write any kind of JavaScript by this, and we can also embed iframes and other kinds of elements as well here.
Okay.
Yeah. And these things are not published. Any content that you add is not published by default. It's a draft, so it's not going to be published. Learners will not be able to see it unless you click on publish.
Okay.
So see, just a second. Okay, no problem. Can you scroll down? Just scroll down. Just can you just click on all of this component so that we can understand what all the features are there.
Yeah, I'll click on video. So video is very simple, and then you can give a.
It's okay. No need to write it. Just showcase them. What all features are there.
So you can import transcript also if it is available on YouTube. Otherwise, you can upload your own transcript. So that also is allowed. Okay, that is one way. You can also specify MP4 files or something like that. Similarly, HTML. So HTML is where you can add content.
No.
Content.
Shashi, no need to write. Just showcase this. What all things are available.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. And other things, discussion. You can give a title to the discussion. Okay. And similarly, one second. I'll go there. We can go to advanced problems where PDF is where you can upload a PDF. You can specify a URL basically.
Okay.
And you can specify whether you want to allow the download or not. Last time I showed you a PDF, it was downloadable. It was downloadable, right? You can specify whether it's downloadable or not. That's also possible. And yeah, one more thing. So LTI consumer is like, for example, if you wanted to pull from Khan Academy, you can use LTI consumer. Okay. Staff graded assignment. We were talking about the problem statement, and you can submit your assignments, kind of a thing. That's also possible.
So all Google document, Google Drive, everything is supported.
Yeah, Google Drive is also available. I'll show you how to.
One more thing I just wanted to ask. Can I ask?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Now that with this COVID situation, students might take examinations from their homes. Can we make them sit for the examination and without changing the screen, and they'll be constantly on this screen without referring to anything else and attend the examination?
Yes. To answer to your question, let me answer on this part, Shashi. Allow me for 2 minutes. So there is a concept of proctoring exam. So what
Yeah.
it does that, so if we support proctoring software also, but that is third party. So in that case, we have to take the services. Similarly, the way we have done for Zoom integration, similarly we have to do some proctoring based on your recommendation. Okay, you want this proctoring software, we can integrate it. So it is pretty much possible, and we have done that part.
It is possible.
Yes, yes. In fact, we have done that part for one of our client, HRCI. So
Okay.
they provide a certification to their HR certification to their employees, and every 3 year the certificate get expired. What they said, every 3 year they have to take the exam and they have to recertify their certification from home itself. So for that they have enabled this proctoring software. In that case, it is detectable everything, whether you are moving from one tab to another tab or you are minimizing the screen or not. So it is supported here.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, one more thing, because you're talking about exam, you can also set your grading policy. You can
Okay.
set what is the pass percentage and what is the this thing, that kind of a thing. And I'd like to show something else. One second. So let me go here. Yeah, let me go here. So basically, in the problem, there is something called as a. You can also specify what is the maximum number of attempts, what is the weightage of the problem. So you can set what kind of weightage it is, 8 out of 100 or something like that. You can set, you can set the timer also, basically how much time you want to provide between attempts. So a lot of customization is possible through these settings itself. So you can set a complete grading mechanism. If you see that I had earned, some learners had earned some certificates, if I'm not wrong, right? Those learners had earned the certificates because they had passed the various exercises, they attempted it, and they qualified for the certificate, basically. People who did not pass did not get a certificate. That's how it is.
Okay.
And
Jayesh had a question. Jayesh, you had a question? Jayesh, are you there? You had a question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Nice. I just wanted to ask about the math problem and all, but he had shown all those things.
Okay. Fine.
One more thing, Rao, so just I want to add on. As you said, actually most of the university, Moodle is an old technology. It is already there and people are using it. I understand that. It's like initially we have a Yahoo Messenger, then it comes to Google Talk, and we have moved from Yahoo Messenger to Google Talk. Then we have come to Facebook Messenger, then we have it WhatsApp, right? It's evolution. The whole idea was the communication between one end to another user, correct? But we have done the evolution. We have seen the multiple user seamless data transfer without having a n number of traffic. So in Moodle, the problem is itself that the moment suppose your course become hit or you want to provide a distance learning, and suppose 1 lakh users or 1 million users want to use this particular, want to see this, enroll this particular course. At that point of time, the Moodle will not support, because Moodle itself made for K12 education. It's not for the massive. But in case of Edulate, what it happens, even it is 10 million users only enrolling for single courses, it will support, and it will seamlessly get in, give the certification, all the process what it has to be done. So this is the benefit.
Universities are using this. Can you tell some names?
Sir, MIT is using it, Stanford is using it, then Google is using it, IBM
Microsoft, all the big universities out. So Shashi, can you just open the presentation? Maybe it will help.
Yeah.
The best part of this application is the core of the application is being used across the big university and as well as the big
this page, Praveen.
Yeah. Can you just
this page?
So, yeah. So here you can see that this particular the platform itself has 20,000+ courses deployed across the world. 40 million+ learners already use 9 of 10 highest ranked university, and it is framed by Times Higher Education World University Ranking. It was created by MIT and Harvard University and was quickly supported by, as you see, UC Berkeley, Johnston, Stanford University, companies such as Google, IBM, Microsoft. They are all using the MOOC platform. Reason is only because we understand that the new era is all about e-learning. E-learning can be a virtual classroom that is recorded on, or blended classroom, which is live session and recorded as well.
So one more question: can we integrate it with Microsoft Teams?
Yes, we can. So as I said, sir, we have LTS, so we can support any software.
Okay.
So finally, to summarize what Praveen said, Moodle is an e-learning platform, was typically meant for a classroom kind of a size, 60 people, 50 people, or 100 people, like that. Whereas this is a MOOC platform, that is an e-learning platform. This is a MOOC platform. MOOC platform is massive. Basically, we can support lakhs of students for a single course. We can scale up. The design itself is scalable by that way. So that's a critical difference between Moodle and as well as our Analytics basically.
Okay.
And
So one more. Sir,
Yeah.
one more question from my side.
Yeah.
I'm looking your demonstration on localhost. So,
Yeah.
is your software will be available as installable or as a platform?
So
It's a platform actually.
It's a platform.
It's already there.
It's
So can you show it, Shashi?
Yes.
I think
This
we
is
have
what-
given you the link also.
okay.
Yeah, I've seen the link, but I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah. No. It's a platform as a service. Sir.
It's a platform as a service. So this is the
Mhm.
link. You can see a couple of courses are already available. This is our demonstration demo platform basically, where we will keep on adding some more courses which are available for students.
Okay.
This
Can
was
we use your setup as our own? If we have infrastructure at our place and we can use your software only as an installable things.
So basically, you're asking for on-premise deployment. Is it correct?
On-premise deployment? Yes.
Praveen, can you answer that question?
Yeah. That is there, sir. That definitely there. But I believe that will be costlier because it's a license based. So yeah, it depends upon the university. So we can do that. No problem.
Okay.
I think
Because the idea is that it is always
Mhm.
upgradable. So once you deploy on premises, the upgradation part which we used to do every quarter, that will not, I believe, that will not be available to the offline premises, basically, which is already installed.
Premises is not offline, but we just want to integrate with our own things.
Okay.
So
That
is that
doable, sir.
feasible or?
Yes, that is doable. Okay.
Mhm.
Basically, what Praveen means to say that there are automatic updates available. The cloud managed, we give it as a platform service. So when we do it, we're using cloud managed, our own cloud basically. So automatically the updates will be added. Whereas if it is on premise, then yeah, certain exchanges
Yeah,
are
it
required.
comes with some limitations, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we have to contact you and you have to contact us, and there has to be some exchange between us.
Yes.
So that overhead will be there. That's the.
Okay.
Any other question, Jay sir or Rao sir?
no, I think we
No,
are.
no, it's okay.
Thank you. It was nice demonstration, Shashi, both Shashi and Praveen.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for your time and
I think,
patience.
yeah, definitely. We need to speak to our higher ups and then we'll get back to you. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice day, all of you.